With us, the first week of testimony in the high-profile and racketeering conspiracy trial against Sean Diddy Combs.
He would do a lot of foul shit, like behind the scenes. He would do some foul shit, like hating on, like doing things with people I'd done business with that he done business with. He would say shit that I was like, he said that to you?
Right.
I was like, yeah, so all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and niggas don't know what they like till they see somebody with it. So they want the girls after you're done with them.
She did, Eva, and she had kept her composure for most of her 4 days on the witness stand under really uncomfortable cross-examination and testimony generally, the most intimate, graphic, demeaning things that you could imagine.
In a courtroom packed with media and spectators, the unexpected arrival of Curtis 50 Cent Jackson on May 15th injected a charged energy into Sean Diddy Combs' ongoing federal trial on racketeering and trafficking charges. Jackson, who has publicly supported Cassie Ventura, Combs' former partner and a key prosecution witness, unexpectedly referenced the widely circulated rumor of secret tunnels beneath Combs' properties.
One person who was always anti-Diddy and was always speaking about Diddy as a problematic person was 50 Cent. And it turns out that it's just been announced that he's created a docu-series on Netflix. I can't wait to see this. The other end of that, every person who has tried to speak out about this, who has tried to speak out about the industry, the type of people that are controlling the industry. While various social media videos have dramatized claims that Combs covertly used underground passageways for illicit activities, a March 2024 Reuters fact check confirmed that no credible evidence exists of such tunnels at Combs' Los Angeles or Miami residences. Nonetheless, 50 Cent's remarks in court about seeing these tunnels sparked intense interest, showing the swirling rumors and the high stakes of a trial that has already drawn dozens of allegations and global attention.
This trip, I know that nigga said, I'm checking my paperwork today. I get out this money. Damn. Nigga, I spent Christmas in jail.
Diddy's got tunnels underneath his house.
No.
5 tunnels leading to 5 other houses in that area.
What houses?
Dude, someone said Michael Jackson's old house.
Believe it.
Saw that photo, how
Blindly.
close he was to a port.
Because he's getting linked.
To a port?
He's getting linked to crimes that involved shipping.
From the outset, Jackson's courtroom presence was notable given his long-standing rivalry with Combs, dating back to the early 2000s, when Jackson frequently criticized Combs in interviews and on social media. As the trial unfolded, Cassie Ventura's detailed testimony revealed instances of alleged coercion, violence, and forced substance use during her decade-long relationship with Combs, describing events in 2016 that were captured on surveillance footage and widely discussed in the media.
Do you want to go see where those people's at? Come. It's about that's kind of ass though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not an actual room, but
still.
Yeah.
I thought this was one of like
That
an
would've
underground
been fine,
tunnel or some.
But I ain't gonna lie, they said I got underground tunnels, but
That's what they said.
I don't know. I haven't searched this whole house. I ain't gonna lie. Bro, I
Why
found
is that?
out it was Diddy's crib.
In that tense atmosphere, Jackson's decision to comment on the non-existent tunnels served a tactical purpose, to reinforce Ventura's narrative of hidden nefarious behavior by Combs, while also challenging the defense's portrayal of Combs as a calm and controlled public figure, an image carefully cultivated over decades.
So my pegs are definitely submerged. Fuck, this is so stupid. Okay, both feet. Oh, fuck. Dude, this is the deepest water I've ever ridden in, but I'm riding it. It's getting deeper. Dude, that was deep. Ew. It smells bad in here, dude. We did it, we're hella deep. Let's keep going. It's like, what other vehicle would you ever do this on? It needs to be small, light, water resistant, controlled. Sounds like the RTR to me. What's going on under here? We could probably learn something from this graffiti. It's like, chop them down. That's not good. Operation Under. This feels like we're entering territory. Yeah.
The narrative unravels exactly what transpired at that pivotal courtroom moment examines the origins and veracity of the tunnel rumor, and details how Jackson's remarks influenced courtroom dynamics and public perception. Drawing on multiple sources, including Reuters, Associated Press, BBC, NPR, Wikipedia, and first-hand courtroom accounts. This account presents a fact-based, conversational narrative that accurately reflects the evidence presented to date while dispelling unsupported claims about secret tunnels.
I've never been to a Diddy party. She was the most hated too. Who partied with us? I know it's fun. Bad Boy House. I never been there. Daddy's house. Daddy's house. Daddy's house. Yeah. So I'm trying to tell you, them niggas had a lot of fun.
Curtis 50 Cent. Jackson's presence in the federal courthouse on that mid-May afternoon was a calculated move that immediately drew hushed whispers and curious glances. Known for his long-standing public feud with Sean Diddy Combs, Jackson had repeatedly used social media to question Combs' character, from insinuating prior knowledge about Biggie Smalls' tragic incident to mocking Combs' finances and relationships. However, nothing could compare to Jackson entering an ongoing trial where Combs was accused of running a trafficking enterprise, charges that risked upending the entrenched power dynamics in the music industry. For Jackson, this was an opportunity to not only back Ventura, but also to frame Combs as someone who might literally be concealing his darkest actions beneath the surface, hence the now notorious secret tunnels reference.
Breaking news, the Department of Homeland Security has just confirmed to CNN that federal law enforcement agents have raided properties owned by musician and producer Sean Diddy Combs. Let's bring in CNN security correspondent Josh Campbell and CNN legal analyst Joey Jackson. Josh, let me start with you. What do these raids by federal agents in multiple locations tell you about the seriousness of this investigation?
Yeah, Wolf, a very significant development here, seeing this law enforcement action taking place. I'll point out, just to be clear at the outset, we don't know that Sean Diddy Combs himself is the subject or target of a federal investigation. So it's just worth pointing that out at this hour. But what we do know is that two properties associated with him, we saw the feds descend on those properties. We saw on aerial footage, federal agents both here in the Los Angeles area.
To appreciate the significance of Jackson's statement, one must understand the broader context of Combs' trial. Combs was indicted on September 16, 2024, by a grand jury in the Southern District of New York on charges including racketeering conspiracy, trafficking by force, and transportation for purposes of prostitution. Prosecutors alleged Combs used his fame, fortune, and the resources of his entertainment empire to recruit and exploit women and minors, often at elaborate substance-fueled FO parties held at his properties in Miami and Los Angeles.
Department of Homeland Security, their what's called HSI, Homeland Security Investigations, gave CNN a statement. I'll read you part of that when asked about what this activity is. They say that earlier today, HSI New York executed law enforcement actions as part of an ongoing investigation with assistance from HSI Los Angeles, HSI Miami, and our local law enforcement partners. That is it, confirming that they are conducting what they're deeming law enforcement action, which could indicate search warrants being conducted there, could indicate arrests being conducted. We just don't know at this hour specifically what that law enforcement action is. It is worth pointing out, though, that Combs himself obviously has faced significant legal woes in recent months. I'll give you just the highlights of what actually occurred. In November, he was sued and abused a former partner. That lawsuit was then settled very quickly. But in December, he faced sexual allegations in a complaint filed in the Southern District of New York.
Cassie Ventura, Combs' former girlfriend of 11 years, filed a civil lawsuit in November 2023, later settled for $20 million, claiming Combs physically, emotionally, and her over the course of their relationship. That lawsuit prompted Homeland Security to raid Combs' properties in March 2024, seizing evidence including thousands of bottles of lubricant substances, fueling allegations that Combs recorded his intimate acts for blackmail.
We're now getting a closer look at the mountains of evidence federal investigators collected at the homes of P. Diddy leading up to his indictment. This includes things like ammunition, electronic evidence, and more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and personal lubricant. To understand all this and how it relates to Diddy's case, we're hearing from former CIA officer and FBI agent Tracy Walder. I'm Sierra Gillespie, and this is Law and Crime News. Major news this week out of New York, where now disgraced rapper Sean P. Diddy Combs was arrested and taken into custody. On Monday, a grand jury indicted him on multiple federal charges, including racketeering conspiracy by force, fraud, or coercion, and transportation to engage in prostitution. Homeland Security took Diddy into custody at the Park Hyatt in New York. According to his legal team, Diddy's been in the city for the past week ahead of these anticipated charges.
The trial began on May 5th, 2025, with jury selection, followed by opening statements on May 12th. Over the following days, the prosecution called Ventura and other witnesses to the stand to testify against Combs.
So Diddy may have had a heads up that these charges were on the way, but it wasn't a complete surprise to the rest of us either. Federal investigators issued search warrants on 2 of Diddy's homes this spring, and that's when experts told us it's not if, but when Diddy will be arrested. We couldn't confirm then that Diddy was the target of the search, but we had a good idea what investigators were looking for: electronic evidence of alleged illegal acts, assault, or racketeering. These allegations date back to November of last year, when Cassandra Ventura, known publicly as the singer Cassie, filed civil suit against Diddy. She laid out some major claims against him, saying over the course of their relationship, Diddy physically and emotionally forced her to carry illegal weapons and even made her have sex. The lawsuit was settled outside of court just one day after it was filed, but it was just the start of the wave of lawsuits that Diddy would soon face. Warrants at Diddy's homes in Los Angeles and Miami. At the time, we only speculated that investigators collected electronic evidence, but now we know for sure. According to the indictment against Diddy, investigators seized more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and from his home. The court doc states these items were used in something referred to as were elaborate and produced performances that Combs arranged, directed, masturbated during, and often electronically recorded. In arranging Combs, with the assistance of members and associates of the Combs enterprise, transported and caused to be transported commercial across state lines and internationally. During Combs distributed a variety of controlled substances to victims, in part to keep the victims obedient and compliant. Sometimes, unbeknownst to the victims, Combs kept videos he filmed of victims engaging in with commercial stars.
Ventura's testimony was particularly harrowing. She described being coerced into substance-fueled FO parties, witnessing Combs mistreat other women, and enduring physical violence herself, including being struck and threatened with recordings that could ruin her career. By the time Jackson entered the courthouse on May 15th, Ventura had already spent 4 days testifying.
Guys, they found underground tunnels at Diddy's homes. This was first brought up by Shadow of Ezra, where he talked about the underground tunnels in Diddy's luxurious Los Angeles mansion. It was an underwater swimming tunnel leading to a mysterious grotto, reminiscent of an ancient and modern human use of caves. Now, this is all alleged, of course, but they say that this tunnel connects to the Playboy Mansion. You guys remember that? Hugh Hefner, the guy who lived with all those women in his mansion? There's no available evidence right now. However, reports are noting that Combs mansions do have a pool with an underwater swimming tunnel. 10 years ago, they were building underground tunnels to the Playboy Mansion for people like Jack Nicholson for his birthday. So this way, they don't have to go through the outside, but go underground in secret to the Playboy Mansion to do God knows what. You can see the sketches here of these underground tunnels being built. They were working on it, and it was supposed to connect celebrities like Jack Nicholson, Warren Beatty, Michael Jackson, just to name a few. As reported by People magazine, these underground tunnels to the Playboy Mansion were sealed off in the 1980s. The question is, do you believe that? Stay safe and be smart.
Courtroom reports from journalists like Anne Brannigan of The Washington Post described Ventura's composure during her testimony, even as she recounted traumatic events, and noted Combs' growing agitation at the defense table. On May 14th, Dawn Richard, a former member of Danity Kane and a longtime Combs associate, testified that she witnessed Combs physically mistreat Ventura in 2009 during a heated argument in his Los Angeles home. This litany of allegations painted a picture of Combs not just as a successful music mogul, but as someone who wielded his power to manipulate, intimidate, and allegedly mistreat women. Allegations Combs' defense has vehemently denied, arguing that all encounters were consensual and that Ventura's recollections are inconsistent.
The first week of the testimony trial against Sean Combs ended with a former member of one of Combs' musical groups on the witness stand. Dawn Richard says that she saw Combs attack Cassie Ventura in 2009. Richard is suing Combs in federal court, accusing him of battery. She'll be back on the witness stand on Monday. Now, the star witness of the week, though, was Cassie Ventura, Combs' former girlfriend. Her civil suit against Combs led to this trial in part, and the singer and actress recounted how she met Combs when she was a teenager, worked with him under contract at his record label, and eventually became his girlfriend.
Against this backdrop, Jackson's entrance and his purported remarks about secret tunnels took on outsized importance. Video clips circulating on social media showed Jackson walking past spectators and whispering with Cassie's legal team during a recess. As cameras caught his entrance, a microphone nearby picked up Jackson saying, "I've seen those tunnels myself. What goes on underground is far worse than anyone knows," before he took a seat in the back row. Though no mainstream news outlet reported Jackson testifying under oath about seeing tunnels, his off-the-cuff comment, captured by television microphones, jump-started a media frenzy, with outlets speculating about the tunnel's existence and purpose.
The nigga Pop was like, he's like, when we gonna get the chance to, to kick it, like, we can just hang out, nigga, we gotta kick it. Yo, why don't we, like, go shopping or some shit? I mean, like, I pay for it. And I was like, this nigga just said. I got the from him, because I was like, this nigga, like, fucking, wait, just tell me he taking me shopping. And this goes on. But there's a little fruit pie. You little weird ass pictures and shit like that out there, sitting out there for no reason. If you don't see accident pictures, it'll be like kissing it. Like that doesn't happen by accident.
The rumor that Combs had built elaborate underground tunnels first surfaced in November 2023 after Ventura's initial lawsuit became public. A manipulated social media post claimed that Customs and Border Protection agents discovered a network of tunnels linking Combs' homes to various nightclubs, allegedly used for smuggling and trafficking. However, the Reuters fact check published on March 28, 2024, definitively debunked the claim, clarifying that the only tunnel in Combs' Los Angeles property was a decorative underwater swimming tunnel leading to a grotto-style pool, a feature well documented since 2014. The purported CBP discovery was labeled a fabrication, and no credible evidence of subterranean passageways has ever emerged.
I don't want a big house no more. I experienced that with the Tyson mansion. I bought it, it's 55,000 square feet.
Well, you bought Mike Tyson's mansion? I didn't know that.
Yeah, and then you look down the hallway and you go, whenever you look down the hallway in your house and you don't want to go down there.
Probably. My only question, kind of request of 50 Cent is just don't rush it. It gotta be better than Dharma. Of course, I know it may not be as exciting, but we talking about quality of acting, storyline, in-depth detail. We need it to be better than Dharma, especially if you're taking it to Netflix. Just take your time with it. We could probably look forward to this like 2026, 2027. Allow the storyline to play out. Don't rush it. You kind of almost need the impact to be just as crazy as...
Oh, guys, here's the thing really quickly. So, this is brand new news to me, but I will say, though, is this a real thing, or is 50 Cent just being 50 Cent right here and just trolling the world again, guys?
You kind of almost need the impact to be just as crazy.
Let's check it out.
And the tea gets
Diddy
hotter than that, y'all. Now, 50 Cent has sold his Diddy documentary to Netflix after a fierce bidding war. And the title, Diddy Do It.
In court, however, the question of tunnels never became a formal line of inquiry. Neither the prosecution nor defense introduced evidence of any underground corridors. Instead, both focused on witness testimonies, surveillance videos from a Miami hotel incident in 2016, and physical evidence from the March 2024 raids, such as the discovered stashes of baby oil, substances. Journalists on the ground, Marissa Gillespie of AP News, for instance, reported no mention of tunnels in either the direct examination by prosecutors or cross-examination by Combs' defense team. In fact, during a midday recess on May 15th, Judge Tarr adjudicated attorneys to focus strictly on admissible evidence, and witness credibility, warning against distracting rumors that had no bearing on the legal standards of proof, further illustrating that the court did not consider tunnels admissible or relevant.
The new lawsuit coming with Jay, the part with Jay. I go, oh shoot, like
To us, black excellence.
that had to be there.
We getting tighter, you know what I'm saying? And united we stand, and ain't nothing else.
Black excellence, they're sitting there like, yeah. It's the billionaire brunch.
Oh,
Like,
I hate you, man.
unaware of anything going on here. This is the one time I'm gonna be with you just this year. Come on, bro.
When Jackson made his unsolicited remark, camera footage showed Combs' reaction. His shoulders tensed and eyes darted toward Jackson, as if perceiving a direct threat from his longtime rival. Courtroom artist sketches captured Combs with a hardening expression, reminiscent of a lion sensing an encroaching challenger. Legal analysts like Sarah Matthews, a jury consultant, noted that such spontaneous dramatics, while not directly evidentiary, could bias jurors by implying hidden facets of Combs' alleged criminal behavior, suggesting an additional dimension to his capacity for deception and secrecy.
I like when you like this, Daddy.
Where you put my bag
Daddy, I
at?
like when you just blow it out. It's your birthday every day.
Every day's your birthday on Drink Champs.
You heard what he just said, right?
So Fab, how was your birthday, man?
Yeah,
what was your wish?
I like vibes. You know what I mean? I like a good vibe more than like wanting for anything, like, you know what I mean?
Certain things they let it go by because it's Puff. Like he would say stuff, and it's like he wasn't like in the closet. He was like in the hallway. Now you see so much that you go away.
See where I look
miss
back on
me?
where I became.
Did you miss me though? For real? Because it seems like a thing.
I
It
miss
was his
partying
birthday
with
party,
Puff, man.
But I'm talking about for your birthday.
Because when Fab, he was like, "Yo, Fab, we ain't party. Fab was like, "Nah, we partying tonight."
Why won't you party with me for your birthday, man?
We partied for my birthday before. You came to my party.
No, but me and you ain't never really party. You know what I'm saying?
Like no, like but they did party. Yeah. And I'm like, yo, they let that one go. Like I had to say something about it later because I was like, oh, it was
What does it feel like all these years? You being the only one calling this out?
I look like I've been the crazy guy for a long
They
time.
say that you're a hater. They say
you're a
crazy.
hater. You do this, yeah. And now everybody's complaining. My ass hurting.
In conversations with reporters after court adjourned that day, Jackson clarified that his comment was based on stories I've heard from people who used to work on the estate and what I was told by insiders, rather than personal exploration of any underground passageways. When pressed for clarity, Jackson admitted, "I haven't crawled in them, but I've seen enough evidence. Sealed doors, blueprints, creepy basement access, to know something's down there." Though he acknowledged that no official documents or blueprints had been produced to substantiate his claims. These admissions, mixing secondhand anecdotes with speculation, made Jackson's claim anecdotal at best and unsubstantiated at worst.
He says things, he doesn't even know what he's saying is like fruity. He says something fabulous and he goes, yo, no, but me and you, we ain't party. Like, we need to party. What are you talking about? Then when people say that to me, I get a little uncomfortable. Like, when you see Jadakiss put his head down, like, while we stuck here right now, and the cameras is rolling, everybody see, don't make like it's just me, man. What if he do some like a little fluffy stuff
Now
going
you guys
on? Like he said something to me one time, a long time ago. He told me he'd take me shopping. I looked at him like, what you just say? Let me move, man, before I do something. You gonna make me mess up the wedding. Let me get out of no, dude, take me, that's what a guy says to a girl.
I asked 50 about that. And he said you did the same thing to him. You asked him to take him shopping.
Yeah, I thought he needed some clothes. What? I'm a nice guy. I don't have no beef with Fifth. He loves me. Y'all can't see that he loves me? You really, hold on, you really think that's hate? You know he loves me. I don't think he like it. You know he loves me. I don't think.
Immediate fact checkers and legal observers were quick to point out the contradiction between Jackson's statement and the Reuters finding. On May 16, 2025, Reuters reaffirmed that the only tunnel at Combs' Los Angeles property was a swimming passage leading to a grotto pool, and that no official search or seizure had ever documented any additional subterranean structures. Rolling Stone, Variety, and other entertainment outlets quoted the Reuters fact-check, cautioning that Jackson's remarks, while sensational, lacked verifiable support. Even Cassie Ventura's legal team, while grateful for Jackson's support, stated in a brief comment that allegations about tunnels are separate from the core issue of Ms. Ventura's first-hand testimony regarding misconduct, implicitly distancing themselves from the unverified rumor.
What do you mean that Michael Jackson was scared of Diddy, scared for his life? What do you mean? What do you mean 50 Cent is throwing a going away party for Diddy? By the way, 50 Cent is one of the worst enemies you can have. Because if you are an enemy of 50 Cent, you're probably a bad person.
The usual mix of low-effort, AI-generated view farming content and more plausible analysis is present on the subject. But we came across a number of interesting data points that we chose to give a closer look for this video. For instance, while mainstream media has denied and debunked the existence of the tunnels and the validity of the doctored CNN image from March, there is some evidence to support their existence.
Social media, however, was less discerning. Within hours of Jackson's comment, Twitter users had created threads analyzing every word. Reddit's r/hiphopheads forum was ablaze with conspiracy theories.
You and Puff haven't liked each other business-wise for a long time.
Well, that's why it's only business. It was really away from that. I explained why I didn't hang out with him, right? Because it's fluffy stuff going on.
It's not your scene.
It's not my stuff.
Not your scene.
They hug you from the front and the back at the same time.
It's not your thing.
It's not my thing, bro.
What was the original annoyance between? It was just like,
well, when you start to get the momentum, he's like, yo, we gotta hang out. Yo, when we going? I got uncomfortable with him because the way he was asking to try and get me to hang out with him was like, yo, I'll take you shopping. Like, and I'm like, what you mean? Like, that's something you say to a woman you're attracted to, maybe.
Right.
At Chris Lighty's wedding, he told me to take me shopping. I looked at him like, what'd you just say?
It's just weird, bro. Like, and now you start to see a lot of the weird stuff that was there. It looks like it all lines up, don't it? It was not in the closet. It was in front of you, and you wasn't seeing it because you see the beards, or you see the girls. So you didn't look at them the way it actually is to a degree.
By May 17th, 2 days after Jackson's initial court appearance, mainstream outlets like People Magazine and BBC News had already filed corrective pieces. People Magazine's article emphasized that Jackson did not provide evidence of any tunnels, quoting Judge Tarr's adjudication that speculation about subterranean structures must not distract from the actual charges and admissible testimony. The BBC's coverage was equally direct, titling its piece, Cassie Ventura Testifies, No Credible Evidence of Diddy's Secret Tunnels, and clarifying that the trial's focus remained on Ventura's allegations of physical and emotional misconduct, not on underground passageways. Notwithstanding repeated clarifications, the legend of Diddy's tunnel took on a life of its own. Podcasts focusing on true crime and celebrity scandals invited self-proclaimed insiders who claimed that CBP had discovered floor plans during the 2023 raids indicating subterranean rooms for storing illicit materials. None of these insiders provided verifiable documentation, however. Instead, they cited vague sources close to the investigation and unnamed law enforcement officials. Legal experts emphasized that even if such tunnels existed, proving their relevance in a would require connecting them directly to illegal conduct, an evidentiary burden for which no documents or witness testimony to date had emerged.
About how the alleged abuse began, how it led to the so-called. She said that she was coerced into participating in and coordinating. Her week on the stand ended with Combs' defense lawyers interrogating Ventura about the incident seen on surveillance video of Combs attacking Ventura in a hallway at a hotel. And while under cross-examination, she discussed her inpatient treatment for mental health problems and taking medication for opiate addiction.
Amid this whirl of claims and counterclaims, Jackson's role morphed into that of a de facto public relations catalyst. He had spotlighted a rumor that, while unfounded, underscored Combs' aura of wealth, secrecy, and rumored illicit behavior. The defense, keenly aware of the potential for juror bias, filed a formal motion requesting a judicial instruction to the jury to disregard any commentary about tunnels not introduced as evidence. In that motion, Combs' attorneys argued that Jackson's improper commentary threatened the fairness of the trial by injecting unverified information into the jurors' decision-making. Judge Tarr denied the motion, citing the principle that Jackson had not testified or provided sworn, substantive assertions about tunnels. Rather, he had been a spectator whose brief remark could not be censored unless linked to witness testimony.
As much as people feel like I don't like, I haven't had issues with Puff where I don't like him like that. Like, I don't like things that he would do, but I don't have that thing where I like, well, we ain't had no thing. I wasn't sending nothing at him, big. If it was on the street side like that, we would be actively doing things to each other. Right. And we wasn't doing it.
Do you think Puff is cooked?
Public opinion, he's washed. He's washed
Yeah.
up. They washed him. He's cooked. But I don't know how much of that turns into actually like what he's up against.
Right.
You know who's gonna benefit the most from Puffy's situation right now? The lawyers. They're gonna look for $7,000 and $5,000 per hour. 4 lawyers, 5 lawyers at a time, just to come back for bail hearings and stuff like that. So we spent a lot of money.
This judicial ruling allowed the rumor mill to continue churning outside the courtroom walls. But within the official proceedings, the focus remained firmly on admissible evidence. Ventura's testimony, surveillance videos, communications between Combs and his alleged victims, and forensic analysis of materials seized in the raids. That evening, Jackson posted on Instagram a blurred photo of a blueprint-like document captioned, "They don't want you to see the truth," but did not clarify its provenance. Media outlets quickly pointed out that the posted image bore striking resemblance to public records of an early 2000s architectural plan for Combs' now demolished Miami townhouse. Plans that included only a standard basement and no hidden corridors. The New York Post, in a front-page headline, admonished, "Don't believe everything you see on the gram, 50 Cent's blueprint reveal debunked."
They said you wrote 2 verses for Diddy. They said you wrote it and it's him confessing the crime. Did you see One was the Let's Get It.
I run this city, send the cops with DA defense to come get me.
I ain't tell him to say that.
And the other one was on the I Get Money remix.
Yeah, Diddy did it, shootouts, coastal beef, shit, Diddy did it, but my lawyer's so good that Diddy gotta quit it.
Jay helped me with that. Jay helped me with that. Jay helped me with that. Jay did that part right there when he said,
Man, cut it out, Phil.
shootouts, coastal beat. I wasn't around, but I was like East Coast, West Coast. That was it. And then Keefy D comes out and says, you know, I'm not involved in this stuff.
You wrote those verses for real though?
Yeah, we collaborated, me and Jay on that.
We collaborated.
Cause what's the name, that part, there's certain things that he wanted to say and Jay knew he wanted to insert it into the record.
Yeah.
And then he would like, yo, put this in it.
As the trial progressed into its third week, the absence of any tunnel-related evidence in court became more conspicuous. On May 20th, the prosecution rested its case after presenting over 60 witnesses, including massage therapists, former associates, and law enforcement agents, detailing how Combs allegedly orchestrated a web of recruitment, coercion, and exploitation. The defense then called character witnesses, music executives, family members, and business partners who described Combs as a family man and a philanthropist, attempting to counter the prosecution's depiction of him as a ruthless manipulator. Though Jackson remained a visible presence in the spectator gallery, he was not called to testify, and the defense did not pursue the tunnel's allegation as a counter-argument, effectively conceding that no tangible link existed between that rumor and the core charges.
The Diddy dungeon theory. Oh, how there's tunnels underneath his house? Michael
crazy.
Jackson in the song says, "I always feel like somebody's watching me. And I have no privacy." Because why? Supposedly, there's a tunnel connected from Diddy's house to Michael Jackson's house.
No way.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
I
That's
actually
a
did
big
not
one
know
right
that.
now. So I fact-checked this whole thing. There's AI pictures of it, but there's only proof that in Diddy's pool, there's tunnels leading to a private grotto. According to the website, it has a private theater that can fit 35 people. And the most curious thing about his property is that the underwater tunnel connected to a grotto is inside a mansion.
Damn.
So that kind of backs up the fact that it's Michael Jackson's house because they live close to each other.
In the subsequent jury instructions on May 22nd, Judge Tarr specifically reminded jurors that they must base their verdict solely on evidence introduced in court, not on anything they might have read, heard, or seen outside the trial. An implicit reference to the tunnel rumor swirling on social media. Legal analysts noted that this instruction reflected the judge's awareness of how sensationalized claims, like those about hidden tunnels, could contaminate juror impartiality if left unaddressed. Within The Guardian's coverage of the trial, one reporter wrote that the romanticized notion of secret underground chambers fits neatly into the public's appetite for scandal, but it is a distraction from the real allegations of human exploitation being adjudicated. Public reaction to the tunnel rumor and Jackson's comment remained polarized. On one side, fans of Jackson and proponents of Ventura's narrative argued that the rumor, even if unproven, reflected the pattern of secrecy necessary to facilitate Combs's alleged criminal enterprise. They pointed to the scale of Combs's Miami Star Island mansion, complete with a private airport-like helipad, a multi-bedroom guest house, and a labyrinthine layout rumored to include underground vaults, arguing that someone with such resources was certainly capable of constructing hidden passageways for nefarious purposes. On the other side, skeptics and Combs's supporters dismissed the tunnel stories as red herrings, citing the Reuters fact-check and the lack of any corroborating law enforcement testimony.
New details are emerging about the raids at Sean Diddy Combs' homes. After federal agents raided the rapper's multi-million-dollar homes in Miami and Los Angeles on March 25th, sources with knowledge told NBC News March 26th that firearms were found at both properties. Additionally, Homeland Security investigations seized Combs' phones in Miami before he was scheduled to depart for a trip to the Bahamas. While the investigation is still ongoing, a source close to the investigation told NBC News that the raid was connected to allegations of and assault and the solicitation and distribution of illegal narcotics and firearms. 3 women and 1 man had been interviewed by federal officials in Manhattan in relation to the investigation, the source shared. In a March 25th statement to E! News, a rep for Homeland Security Investigations said that they had executed law enforcement actions as part of an ongoing investigation and would provide further information. The day after the raids, Combs addressed the situation through his attorney, Aaron Dyer, saying in a statement to E! News March 26th, "Yesterday there was a gross overuse of military-level force as search warrants were executed at Mr. Combs' residences. There's no excuse for the excessive show of force and hostility exhibited by authorities or the way his children and employees were treated." He noted that it was an unprecedented ambush and that the rapper was not detained. He also called the raids a witch hunt, adding that Combs had spoke to and cooperated with authorities. He continued, "There has been no finding of criminal or civil liability with any of these allegations. Mr. Combs is innocent and will continue to fight every single day to clear his name." E! News has reached out to the Department of Homeland Security for comment on Combs' allegations and has not heard back. The federal inquiry into Diddy's homes also arrives 4 months after the Bad Boy Records founder reached a settlement with his ex-girlfriend Cassie over her lawsuit accusing him of rape and abuse. Cassie, whose full name is Cassandra Ventura, said in a November 17 statement to NBC News in part, "I have decided to resolve this matter amicably on terms that I have some level of control." Diddy, who denied all of the Me and You singer's allegations, also released a statement following the settlement, saying the former couple, who split in 2018, had decided to resolve the matter.
Meanwhile, Cassie Ventura's legal team continued to emphasize that the fundamental issue was not where Combs might have built tunnels, but how he allegedly used his power to manipulate and harm vulnerable individuals. In a public statement, attorney Douglas Wigdor reminded the media and public that the jury's focus must be on verified evidence and law, not lurid conspiracy theories, because we are talking about real victims seeking justice, not a Scooby-Doo mystery. By May 25th, formal closing arguments drew near, and Jackson's involvement in the case shifted to social media commentary rather than direct courtroom influence. On May 24th, Jackson tweeted a succinct message: "Truth doesn't need tunnels to surface," followed by a photo of a lit candle beside a single sheet of lined paper with the words, "All that's hidden will be revealed." This cryptic post was interpreted by supporters as a metaphor for Ventura's revelations, while critics saw it as further obfuscation, fueling discussion about whether Jackson's statements had inadvertently undermined his own credibility by perpetuating an unverified claim.
And it's like, if you're buying a house that big, why do you want a shipping yard in the background if you're not doing something in that shipping yard?
Maybe he was just a huge investor in baby oil.
Maybe.
Needed to have his eyes on the
product.
On the product at all times.
Baby.
Psych.
Oh.
He did really bad things.
Yep. This is the biggest sexual assault lawsuit ever to exist in American history. Like,
Dude, I love it. I don't love it. I love that. I hate.
Love it. We're breaking records.
I hate this. What I love is that it's coming to light.
Yes,
Gotcha.
absolutely.
I was waiting for you to go back into a gaslight.
I need to start working on my eggshells with you guys.
You bring your own eggshells with you?
She's open her socks. She's always walking at it.
Ultimately, when the jury retired to deliberate on May 26, no juror mentioned tunnels in notes leaked to the press, suggesting that Judge Tarr's instruction and the prosecution's unwavering focus on concrete evidence effectively neutralized the tunnel rumor within the deliberation room.
So let's start with the defense here, because their lift this week was to convince the jury that Cassie Ventura was willingly engaging in these this activity, that she was not forced, she was not coerced. It's up to the jury to determine that. But how much progress do you think they made on that path?
I think that the defense did what they were supposed to do this week, because though you call it a lift, obviously where the burden is concerned, the burden is on the prosecution to prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt, the highest standard in the law. And the defense doesn't have to prove anything right now.
Reflecting on Jackson's role, Rolling Stone opined that 50 Cent's courtroom cameo served less as a substantive revelation and more as a potent reminder of how old rivalries and modern social media dynamics can blur the lines between rumor and reality. In the same piece, a legal scholar observed that while dramatic embellishments like secret tunnels capture public imagination, the fairness of a trial ultimately depends on evidence that meets stringent legal standards, standards that do not include unsubstantiated hearsay.
Sometimes it looks like burden shifting and it looks like there's a case that has to be made on the other side, but that's not true. So I think because we heard a significant amount of testimony from Ms. Ventura, that maybe the jury could take either way. The defense did not have as hard of a job this week as I thought they would.
Yeah. And you're right to point out that the onus is on the prosecutors. The defense can simply stand up and have nothing to say. It's totally up to the prosecutor. So let's move to that side of the courtroom. I had a judge on earlier this morning who said that she doesn't see a racketeering conviction. I reminded her we're a week into an 8-week trial. So there's more to come. But what do you see as it relates to that specific charge and what we heard from the Ventura testimony and just the earliest part of Don Richard's testimony?
Right, and I've got to agree with that judge. What I said, I spoke with your dear colleague Laura earlier in the week, and I said, I don't.
Curtis 50 Cent, Jackson's remark about seeing Diddy's secret tunnels reverberated across social media and stoked public intrigue. The trial's potential outcome, anchored in witness testimony, documented communications, and surveillance footage, demonstrates that justice hinges on substantiated facts. And although Jackson's involvement underscored the enduring tension between two hip-hop titans, it is Ventura's unwavering testimony and the prosecution's meticulous presentation of evidence that will resonate long after the chatter about tunnels fades into obscurity. That's all from today's video. Stay tuned for more latest updates.
With us, the first week of testimony in the high-profile and racketeering conspiracy trial against Sean Diddy Combs.
He would do a lot of foul shit, like behind the scenes. He would do some foul shit, like hating on, like doing things with people I'd done business with that he done business with. He would say shit that I was like, he said that to you? Right. I was like, yeah, it's all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and niggas don't know what they like till they see somebody with it. So they want the girls after you're done with them.
She did, Eva, and she had kept her composure for most of her 4 days on the witness stand under really uncomfortable cross-examination and testimony generally, the most intimate, graphic, demeaning things that you could imagine.
One person who was always anti-Diddy and was always speaking about Diddy as a problematic person was 50 Cent. And it turns out that it's just been announced that he's created a docu-series on Netflix. I can't wait to see this. The other end of that, every person who has tried to speak out about this, who has tried to speak out about the industry, the type of people that are controlling the industry.
This trip, I know that nigga said, I'm checking my paperwork today. I get out this month. Damn! Nigga, I spent Christmas in jail.
Diddy's got tunnels underneath his house.
No.
5 tunnels leading to 5 other houses in that area.
What houses?
Someone said Michael Jackson's old house.
Believe it.
Saw that photo, how
Blindly.
close he was to a port.
Because he's getting linked.
To a port?
He's getting linked to crimes that involved shipping container.
Do you want to go see where those people's at? Come. It's about that's kind of ass though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not an actual room, but
Still.
yeah.
I thought this was one of like
That
an
would've been
underground
fire.
tunnel or some shit.
But I ain't gonna lie, they said I got underground tunnels, but
That's what they said.
I don't know. I haven't searched this whole house. I ain't gonna lie. But I
Why
found
is that-
out it was Diddy's crib.
So my pegs are, definitely submerged. Fuck, this is so stupid. Okay, both feet. Oh, fuck. Dude, this is the deepest water I've ever ridden in. But I'm riding it. It's getting deeper. Dude, that was deep. Ew, ew, ew. It smells bad in here, dude. We did it, we're hella deep. Let's keep going. It's like, what other vehicle would you ever do this on? It needs to be small, light, water resistant, controlled. Sounds like the RTR to me. What's going on under here? We could probably learn something from this graffiti. It's like, chop them down. That's not good. Operation Under. This feels like we're entering territory. Yeah.